Without a doubt, my favorite survival crafting game ever has got to be The Long Dark. I have put so many hours into this Canadian wilderness. It's so easy to become immersed in this artistically beautiful world that is hauntingly vacant. There's nobody else here to help you. They have all since left or died. It's just you trying to survive on this one Canadian island. Well, you and a variety of animals that have become somewhat more aggressive as of late.
Okay. Oh! Oh! Oh God! Oh God! No! 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 Ah!
Your only goal is to survive, and to do that, you will need to find clean drinking water, edible food, shelter from the harsh elements, clothing to keep you warm, and weapons to protect yourself from the hostile wildlife. It is such a contrast from other games that I play, where the mere act of moving from one side of the map to the other can be quite the expedition. The unpredictable nature of the world that I'm in means I might come face to face with a threat I may not have anticipated. A bear, a wolf, or perhaps some unfortunate weather, a snowstorm, or some really chilling cold. It's a game that ultimately tests your ability to plan and adapt to unforeseen circumstances. How do you want to spend your day? And how will your plans change if the weather goes bad, or you start running low on a vital resource? Or if you find yourself in the fangs of an animal and now suddenly you need medical attention. But I don't think most people see it as a strategy or resource management game. It's just a great game to exist in. Yeah, your primary needs are a concern and you have to balance your resources, but they exist mostly as a motivator to keep you moving. Keep exploring this giant world. See what's just around the next snowbank or over the next hill. I distinctly remember one time I was doing a challenge mode, trying to survive along the coastal highway, and I was having a difficult time finding the resources that I needed, so I ventured a bit beyond my usual path and stumbled upon an entirely new region of the map with an amazing physical structure that I couldn't wait to explore. It was so amazing from the outside, and when I got in, there was no shortage of rooms for me to explore, things to find. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so endeared to this game. It reminds me so very much of my time with Fallout 3, a game that was equally bleak, but also equally beautiful in its own quiet way. Littered with broken buildings and ancient ruins, which were all filled to the brim with a rich history, supplies you could use, of course, things you could find to upgrade your ability to survive, but also environmental storytelling. Notes that you can stumble upon that sometimes talk about someone's attempts to survive, their struggles, or maybe a handy recipe or a piece of advice. It's a very mellow game that has a lot of secrets in it for you to find. I'm reminded of the time that I spent at the Desolate Lighthouse. This is a region of the map that's relatively small, and I made it a challenge of my own to survive there as long as I could, to at least spend 100 days in this relatively small region of the map to see if that was possible. And indeed it was possible, but while I spent so much time there, I learned a lot about the region. Around day 60, I met a new animal that I had no idea would even show up in this area. And around day 80, as I was going back through an area of the region I had passed plenty of times, I noticed that there was an entire cave system that I just had never seen before. It was right there. It was a stone's throw away from my base, and I had never noticed. But staying in a single region and exploring it with a fine-tooth comb is not the only way to play this game. It's a very big world, with a lot of regions and a lot of areas to check out. And there have been plenty of close calls, moments where I came close to the brink of death. Sometimes because of bad planning, or, let's be honest, it's almost always because of bad planning. I could say I got unlucky, but part of planning properly is accounting for the possibility of bad luck. And you learn over time. You learn not to set off on dangerous expeditions without having a plan B. And sometimes I'm able to cheat death even though I deserve it, because I found one errant can of soda that would keep me going, give me enough hydration or a little bit extra energy to keep me going until I found the proper shelter. Or perhaps I was able to find a pack of matches which would let me start a fire to stave off hypothermia after I accidentally fell into the river and got all my clothes wet. Or maybe I plan a short day trip to a nearby location, only to find myself trapped at that location for an extended period of time because a blizzard has rolled in.
Oh, good. I just want to throw myself off the cliff right now. This is dumb.
ultimately being saved by a tin of sardines, a small amount of food that would help stave off hunger for just a little bit longer.
Pass the time by eating sardines.
Yeah, let's eat these sardines. Ooh, delicious. Let's drink some
Breakfast of champions.
sardines and orange soda. Breakfast of champions.
But there's so much to do in this game, so many fun things to find. You can find hunting rifles or pistols for taking down animals, and then you can eat them or skin them and turn their hides into warm clothing. You can tear down the curtains inside of an abandoned building and use it to repair your clothing. You can walk along the shoreline of the ocean looking for some materials that may have washed ashore. And if you're patient enough, you might even see the Aurora Borealis. This game can be very exciting at times, but I would say that most of the time, it's just a rather mundane and relaxing game. Something that I like to play on one monitor while listening to a podcast or watching a cartoon on the other monitor. In fact, that is what I have done in the past. Sometimes I've just played The Long Dark for hours and hours while binging through a podcast that I was interested in. I've done that. So yeah, there's not much else I can say about the game. It's just really, really good at what it does. And what it does isn't going to be for everyone, but it was for me. I had a great time with this game, and I still do go back to it occasionally. It's still getting updates, even now in 2024. There are still plenty of regions in this game that I have not yet explored, some because they don't seem like they'd be fun to explore for me, and others that probably would be fun, I just haven't gotten around to them because honestly, the game is very sizable. It's a world space they've been building for years, and if you haven't tried it before, I definitely recommend checking it out to see if it's for you.